That's my headset there, Halawak.
That's your headset?
Yeah, I think you have the wrong headset,
I think I may have the wrong headset.
Yes, you do, you fool.
Is that better?
That's much better, huh?
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I can hear you, pal.
You can hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. What's up?
That's all that matters.
What's going on, Alex? All right.
I'm doing good. How are you, Mo?
All right, let's properly do the let's do the proper introductions. Welcome to Calling the Audible here, the Division D-1, D-2 podcast, live from the armpit of St. Leonard, Quebec, which is the garage studio, which is called 30 Rock Studio.
FPF Studios, please and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, corporate. You can go tell HR I said the armpit of...
Oh, I will.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll get a call or a memo tomorrow. Please refrain from using the armpit term of the studios. As we
I don't know, it's getting better here, Mo. Every week,
yeah, I know.
the walls are encroaching in ever more.
It looks like a masseuse spot, you know? Go behind the green wall. What's going on
Go behind the green wall. Eagles pulling out cold water bottles from
Yeah,
back
exactly. You look, do you have anything else, sir? Oh, yes, please. So,
there. Asking for a sandwich, but
yeah, cold ice.
We're gonna get a microwave next
we're not
week, I'm
there
sure
yet.
of it.
Oh, really?
Maybe we'll get some like cold cuts and some cheese or something.
Yeah.
Just
That's what I'm
They
saying.
used to bring that the old
little
Uncle Mike.
charcuterie type of board.
Well, back in the old Uncle Mike's, he used to bring a bunch of like Arouche stuff, no?
I did the Lamajuns and the what's the other ones? Aleppos.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Free plug for a non-sponsor. We'll talk about that. All right, let's talk about this. The week that was, we will give you our mid-season report cards for all the teams in Div D-1 and Div D-2. And this, we're at the halfway point, obviously, Alex. And now teams are trying to figure out who's in the playoffs, which we will have. Eagle, when do we have the wild card playoff standings going up?
I believe we're gonna have them as of next week officially.
How about we have them as of this Sunday?
Okay.
He's confused.
What's this Sunday?
On the same. Teams play on Sunday. They want to know where they are after Sunday's games.
Why don't we do it after Tuesday's games after week 6 finishes?
It's a trick question.
listen, guys. 8 out of 10 teams make the playoffs.
Yes.
You make the playoffs. Let's not stress too much.
No, we won't.
But we will look at later this show exactly who we think those 8 teams will be.
Yeah, every week we'll do a prediction, who we think is in, who we think will be out. A little bit of a March Madness, the first 4 in, the last 4 out type of thing here. We'll do that. Letter grades, we'll talk about games of the week, some huge ones we look at. But speaking of the week that was, let's go through Div D-1 and what happened in week 5 at the halfway point of the season. Alex, what caught your attention from this past week?
Well, a big one to mention right off the top here is that the Backyard Bruisers, bully SOB, finally get their first win. They get the monkey off their backs. 38-35. They're 0-4 before this game. SOB was 4-0. So coming in, definitely all the pressure was on the Bruisers to finally deliver their first win, and they did in a large part. Chris Pendenza looked very good in this game. He was 14 of 19, 200 yards, 6 TDs to 0 INTs. I find that as he's progressing throughout the season, he's looking more and more like Rich Humes at quarterback. He scrambles side to side. He obviously doesn't have the poise or the ability to read the field yet, such as Rich does after all those years of experience, but he's looking better and he's looking more and more like a Rich Humes replica. And speaking of the man himself, Rich Humes went bonkers in this game. 6 catches, 117 yards, 2 TDs. At one point, Terry Tam and I were stretching at the end of the field. He caught a wicked corner route and then just stared at us and just did like a little, like it was nothing type of thing. SOB made a game of it late. Look, this was a game of 2 halves, right? It was 32-13 at the half for Bruisers, and then in the second half it was 6-22. So SOB made a wicked comeback at the end. They fell just short, but they got their first loss of the season. And Mo, what do you make of this game?
Well, I'll ask you this question: do you think, in your mind, do you believe this was an upset, or was this a trap game for SOB? Because we did hype up the KGP SOB eventual showdown, which will happen week 7, and this now is a loss. And we talk about the overall playoff standings. It could come back to haunt them if they end up being maybe a 2 seed, perhaps even a 3 seed, if it doesn't go their way.
You know what? I didn't think of it that way, but that's a very good point.
That's why I'm here.
You're the thinker of the group.
Yes. Oh, okay. Easy
And
Eagle.
Eagle's the doer, and I'm the looks, of course.
I don't know about that.
So I think that's the way it was conceived.
I'm all three. You guys are just fluff.
What is
That's why he
short.
That's why he stays behind the camera.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
But you know what? It could have been very well may have been a trap game for this SOB team. They were riding a wave of confidence at an all-time high going into it, and maybe the Bruisers caught them off guard in the first half. Look, the Bruisers were hungry, right? They're desperate for a win, get back into this playoff race. Max Marini had himself a good game, 12-25, 191.
Really? 12-25? 13 incompletions?
191 yards, 5 TDs to 1 INT.
What does that tell you, though?
It means that he completed big passes.
He was throwing big ball. Oh, it's big balls.
Sorry, some big balls.
Big
there.
balls?
Big balls.
Big balls. Our balls are bigger.
Someone ring a bell.
Bring back those CFL, our balls are bigger t-shirts. I know, you throw that many yards on 12-25. What does that say? You're throwing the long ball because you're down, as they were, 32-13, essentially 3 scores, and you have to throw the ball deep. And luckily, they got no Kyle McGuigan in the game, by the way.
No, Kyle McGuigan's huge. Mickey Marini went off, though. 5 catches, 106, and 1 TD.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Is Max Marini the best QB?
No, he's not.
In Div D-1 after 5 weeks?
No, he's not. We'll give our post-midseason awards next week, by the way. No, he's not. What did I say about him when we talked about? Remember, they were like upset because we didn't put them in the power rankings.
Yeah,
I said he's like Tim Tebow out there.
The Tim Tebow.
He is,
but he's currently leading the division in QBR in touchdowns, and he's very competitive in yards as well.
Yeah, but they were down by 3 scores at half against a team that they should have rolled over. Backyard Bruisers are a good team, but with your boy Chris Pendenza, they're not going to win. The matchup entails on paper that they're the better team. They have the better athletes. They have the better system in play here, and they lose an awful game by 3, and it could cost them down the road.
Definitely. I think that could come back to haunt them for sure.
A game that caught my attention for this week here, in particular, was a surprise win, which was Supply and Command over Fun Boys, 32-20. And we look at this game, and Justin Blanchard, 22 of 28 for 201, 4 TDs. Ronovich, 13 of 19 for 190, 4 TDs, 2 INTs. Sammy Begg, 7 for 71, 1 TD. Kyle Smith, Spider Smith, had 3 TDs on 6 catches for 85 yards. A huge one for Supply and Command because you look at this team here looking for a signature win. They get it against Fun Boys. You know, I spoke to Justin Blanchard briefly about this game. He goes, look, they're an athletic team. They're good. They play their systems well here. And he was surprised, like, knowing that Kyle Smith played formerly in Division I eons ago. And for them to come out there and play like they did, I know it's far early. We're at the halfway point here. But Supply and Command, if they can continue to gel and click at this moment moving forward here, they may be a team that no one will want to face in weeks 9, 10, and beyond if they get into the playoffs.
I agree with that sentiment, Mo. Supply and Command are certainly one of the teams that have surprised me in the first half in an impressive way. I want to highlight one key performance here, which may be indicative of how this game played out. Look at this guy, Paulo De La Rocca, 6 catches for 70 yards in this game. It's not every day that you see the Peas chef himself reeling in 70 yards in a single game. So, you know, they had their game working for them in this one. Sammy Begg went off. Peas was tearing it up over the middle. William Power, a little bit of a quiet game, but he's always dangerous when he gets the ball in his hand. On the side of Fun Boys, now that's 2 tough losses in a row. You predicted, I love this part of the show, you predicted a couple weeks ago that they would go undefeated when they got Kyle Smith, and they've lost every game since they got him.
Look, you can't be perfect, can you? It's not how you start, Alex. It's how you finish, my friend.
Okay, but Kyle Smith does have, I think, 8 TD catches, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 2 weeks, so he's been tearing it up. But, you know, is this team kind of priced into the middle tier at this point, or can they get over the hump, beat these upper tier opponents, and kind of make a push as a contender later on?
Well, it's a good question because you look at that win for Supply and Command. They're now a single point behind Get Off My Do, who beat them back in week 3. So they had a tiebreaker over Supply and Command. A much needed win for them, puts pressure on Get Off My D. For Fun Boys, like they're now 3 points behind the pace for second place. That's a big gap for them. But again, they will face Get Off My D a bit later on here. So they could be the ally of Supply and Command for the division title. I'm not saying that's over for them to win the division, but Alex, it's going to be tough with 5 games to go, and with them 3 points off of second place here and 4 points off of first place, it might be a tall mountain to climb to become a division winner. They're probably their best avenue or their best road to the playoffs will be a wild card. And look, if they get in, same thing will apply to them, that no one will want to face in the first round if you're a higher seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and even especially around those middle seeds, if they come in as a 5-6 versus the 4 or 3, that's a dangerous matchup for those teams who are rated above them. And certainly, I don't think there's much benefit in winning the divisional title. It's not like you're getting a bye this season. However, you will get to choose the original coin flip, whether you receive or defer.
But it's a big thing, though.
It's a big thing.
It's huge.
It's our version of home field advantage.
Our version. It's an interesting concept, and I do like them implementing that in the division, in the league. But whether you finish first or whether you finish fourth or fifth, these guys are so experienced that they're going to just be able to turn it on down the stretch and in playoff time and play even at a higher level than they are now.
All right, let's dive into mid-season report card here because we have to go through every team, give them our letter grade for them.
Every team.
So we got to zip through these teams here. A quick response about every team. We'll start off in Conference A with the North Division. Yes, Eagle.
Before we go into that, can we explain the letter grades and what they mean? Because everyone does a completely different system, and someone's A is not the same as someone else's C.
Okay,
people do it like
PG University.
What a nerd, eh?
No, it's because there's the meeting expectations one, which is it's exactly what I expected, and you fail type of thing, right?
Okay.
That's PZ system. So what does an A mean? What does an F mean? What's in the middle of the pack? Do you have plus minuses?
We go through the standard university system of letter grades. A is the highest mark. You can get A plus if you want. In our world, A plus 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 can be the highest grade you want, and the lowest is F minus.
So then, is this basically just a correlation between your record and a number?
No.
Point?
Whatever you want.
Taking into consideration the schedule that you've had, the difficulty of opponents you've played, how much you've won by, how you measure versus our expectations of you preseason. There's many factors that went into this. Mo and I spent many sleepless nights devising this.
I was about to say sleepless nights together devising this. It would have been a little awkward there.
The only reason I'm asking is because we always get this question, and it's like, why are you giving me a C? Well, it's because you're mediocre.
C stands for see later. All right, let's talk about
that's not even the first
North
letter.
Division in Conference A. The Diablos 3-1-1. They are in first place, albeit in a very close division right now. From first to fifth is a 3-point gap. They're one up on LVA. Alex, I'll start with you. A letter grade and a quick analysis. Why?
So we had high expectations for Diablos coming to the season after an undefeated, a 9-1 record in Division 5 this past winter, and they have a formidable 3-1-1. I'm going to give them a B+. The offense is explosive and definitely meets expectations, surpasses it. The defense has left a little bit to be desired so far, especially getting lit up in the last 2 weeks against the Bronsons and the Dreamville. Not exactly the cream of the crop in Division D so far.
No, I give them a B-. They're 1-2-1 in games decided by 8 points or less here. This is the team that ran through winter season, ended up getting bounced in the first round here. A B- is a solid grade for them. Their last 5 games, they play LVA, Kiwi Island, and Get Off My D. Those are going to be the 2 big games for them. If they can perhaps go 2-1 or 3-0, they're definitely a legit contender. But those 2 games could definitely determine where they are in our viewpoint as we move along. So I give them a B-. Let's talk about LVA. They're 3-2 after 5 games. They're in second place. They are 2 up on Francie Bronson's for second. Your letter grade for LVA?
I'm going to give them an A- for the first half. They've definitely exceeded all of our expectations. They weren't very highly touted going into the season. They've faced formidable opponents and done well. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what they've shown us so far. Plus, I think their schedule eases a bit down the stretch as well, so there's more winnable games on the back end. This is a team that's looking at a strong end of season push into the playoffs. A- for me.
I'm going to give them a B. This is a team, by the way, their schedule is torturous at the end. They play KHB Raw and Dreamville, 2 very tough teams.
Dreamville is currently looking for an 89 capped player on Facebook, if you're a superstar and you're looking to join Div D, they don't have any superstars. Yeah, Simon Dagenet
can be your guy. I think their biggest question mark moving forward is Chris Rivet, and we spoke about this team in our Team of the Week. If he plays well, they're unbeatable. If he plays average, they are mediocre. And
the thing about Chris Rivet is that he's a guy who's always going to challenge your adjectives that you use of him. Pease recently called him an intelligent passer, and he asked why. And then they explained because he wears glasses and he doesn't have a big arm. And last year I called his team scrappy, and he asked why. And I said it's because they're not a sexy team to watch. So he's a guy who's always going to challenge your adjectives that you use on him.
He's Chad Pennington. I'll wait for your question why when we see each other, when we cross paths.
Oh, that's very good.
All right, Bronsons. I guess you can't give the grade. I can give the grade. How about a C-?
How about a D from me for This is anyway, you give your
okay. Well, we spoke about it.
You're not going to downgrade it from a C to a D? Hollowak wants the D. Give him a D.
No, I'll give him a C-. This starts and ends with James Nowakowski at quarterback. If you don't if he doesn't play well, and it's showing that he's always off the slow starts in the first half, picks up in the second half, albeit this past week a bit of a controversy with the roster, but this. Oh, you're giving that weird look here.
What happened? I didn't know there was controversy with the roster.
I heard there was a controversy with the roster. You guys busted the cap, no?
We didn't bust the cap. We didn't have any subs this week. We had a regular roster. So unless we always bust the cap.
We'll have to TBD this and talk about it later because I'm pretty sure there was an issue. Although it might have to do with Noah Kelsey's quarterback rating or offensive rating kicking in instead. That might have been corrected, but I'm going to check again.
Check it out, please.
Anyway, I just think that
so let's downgrade us to an F. Then we can't even fit the roster cap.
But the degree of difficulty, obviously lost to LVA by 2, but your other 2 losses have been double-digit losses, and there's no business why you should lose to ICU like you did by 18 points. And Chris Olsen told me the game plan, and it worked to perfection for him to beat you guys.
Absolutely.
And I just think right now it's an underachieving team. With all that FPF experience that you have on that roster, it should be much better. Minimum 3-2, but this is 2-3. Unbelievable how it is right now. Badgers at 2-3. What do you give them right now?
Badgers. If I gave Frosty Bronsons a D, I have to give Badgers a C for their first half of the season, simply because going into the year they did not have the highly touted expectations as the Bronsons do. They lost to us by a point, and they have the same record. So definitely a team. Look. I think my question about the Badgers is who is the long-term quarterback option, right?
That's it,
they keep flip-flopping. Maybe it's because of players being away on certain weeks. I think it's probably going to be Josh Feeder, the long-term quarterback, but we've seen Joseph Cano in there. We've seen another quarterback in week 1. So until they get some stability at that position and Josh can start to develop more consistently each week, I'm going to have to give them a C at this point.
Incomplete. You're right. The quarterback position scares me because I don't know who is their quarterback. Mm-hmm. It could be Alex Dackler for week 6 for all we know.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah. Go! Great! Go! What do you say, Alex? Go! Yeah, exactly. But their next 2 games, SOB and Supply and Command. Yeah. 2 big games, 2 tough teams. Rough. If they can get through that 1-1, I think they'll be okay, but incomplete. Dreamville at 2-3. They're in last place. This is a team that has been sort of underachieving. I'm disappointed by their start. I thought they'd be much better. As you know, I said they would be a team in the playoffs.
Every week
I've said that. But if you want, I'll give you my letter grade right now.
What is it?
They're a D+.
A D+. That's fine. I was going to go with a C-, but D+ is very close as well. I just think that given the season they had in this past winter, that we would expect more out of them, even if they didn't add that top-notch talent. Andrew Langbert is playing phenomenally, but he seems to be a one-man show at some point.
Yeah.
He already has 6 INTs on the season, but the team's
don't worry, I know
134 points.
I know because I get those emails.
Oh, well, I don't get the emails. I just
FYI. There's a mistake on the stat line. I had this, and this. Okay. Done.
Well, it seems like you make a lot of mistakes on the stat line there, Mo.
No, not me. The score sheets.
Just in their case, giving up 26.8 points a game while only scoring about 20 points is not going to get you wins.
Look, the main issue on this team right now is lack of depth at receiver, and it's impacting the quarterback play. We're seeing a much regressed Eli Saleh in the first half, and we'll see. We'll see if they find that piece to complete the chain going into the second half.
All right. We'll alternate teams here because of time here. But we'll talk about the South Division. Get off my D. I'll go with this team here. I'm giving them an A. They've superseded expectations with Jeff Rosenblatt at quarterback. I thought he would have a tough time getting himself acclimated with the position, with what he went through, but they've been impressive so far. I've watched them play a couple of times here. They've played some strong defense. They came up big against the Badgers. You look at their last half of the schedule, which they will play Dreamville, Fun Boys, and your Bronzes week 10. They have a winnable schedule. They can run the table here and perhaps be 8-2, maybe even 9-1. I love the receiving core with what they have to throw to, and I think for this team to make that next step here, if Jeff continues to get healthy, which he looks like he is, it could definitely be a tough team to look out for. So I give them that letter grade. Next team.
I'm jumping in here. Supply and Command, I'm giving them an A as well. I think that 3-1-1 is a good start considering the rough first part of the schedule they have. Justin Blanchard is looking refreshed. He's looking lean and mean. He's a new quarterback, new iteration of himself. They just came off a huge win versus Fun Boys. Look down the stretch. They have ICU, Badgers, Zoo, and Frosty Bronsons in the next 4. All 4 of them winnable games, and then finish versus Straight Out of Breath. So this is a team that's looking to peak going into the second half.
Fun Boys, I'm giving them an A. Yeah, that's right, an A. An A.
To a 2-3 team.
Yeah, because they've been through a lot here. The adversity, climbing those high mountains, my friend. They have been through it all here, but they are now set. Look, they're 2-3. We believe that 3 wins could get you in the playoffs. I think for them, if they can hit 3 of 2 or 3 of 5, pardon me, or 4-1, 6 wins would be more than enough here. But they have a lot of weapons to work with. I think for Scott Maranovich, he looks much more comfortable now at quarterback than he did before. And with Kyle Smith playing very well, and with this team and the core support core that they have going on for them with Fred Slay, if he does play, I'm not too sure about that. But Brennan Parham, Derek Eason, these guys are legit players. I think they have the chance to turn the tables. I'm giving them an A right now.
But I have to ask, which class are you teaching? Because I'll take it right away. If you can get less than 50% and get an A, I'm on board for that.
Halleck, if you were in my class, I'd fail you before you even sign up. All right. ICU, my man.
ICU is now 2-3. They just came off of 2 huge wins in a row, back-to-back, versus Les Vergeriens and the Frosty Bronsons. This is a team that's starting to peak now. They lost by only 6 points to get off my D as well. So this is a team that's peaking at the right time. I'm going to give them a B for the first half of the season. They started off very sluggish out of the gate, but they're finding their identity as they go along. And look, they have games on deck versus Badgers, Green Lantern Corps versus Dreamville, all winnable games in the second half. So this is a team that's definitely eyeballing 500 at the end of the season. I'll give them a solid B.
All right, I have GLC next, Green Lantern Corps.
Oof.
That is all.
Yes.
An F.
They're worse than the movie.
An F. Yeah. This is a team that has disintegrated to what they are. They are a relic of what they were a year ago. And they bring in a supposed upgrade in Hyman Luong, and it hasn't worked. They're more competitive, but they are not where they're supposed to be at 0-5. Obviously, Captain Obvious comment there. But this is a disappointment, a major letdown in my books here. This is an F. Let's go.
It's a rough year for
it is, man.
GLC.
Absolutely. All right, Conference B.
You take KGP Rock.
No. I'll let you go because my letter grade, we know what it's all about, these guys.
Well, it pains me to say it, but I'm going to have to give KGP Raw an A for their first half.
Sorry, my headphones kind of let go and let out. What do you say?
I'll give them an A.
An A.
A for amazing. They're 5-0 so far. They just decimated Les Affreux 32-12 this week. It wasn't even a challenge for them.
No.
Now they have games versus Bra Mitzvah. They have games versus ICU coming up. But there's a couple of tough games ahead as well. Look, you're looking at Straight Outta Breath. You're looking at Kiwi Island. You're looking at LVA. So they're going to be challenged as well in the second half. But so far, this team, you have to give it to them. They've risen to every challenge that they've had. They have 82 points allowed in 5 games. That's less than 20 points a game. It's just like it's a team that looks composed and that looks ready to contend this year in my books. Give them an A.
I give them A+. SOB, Straight Outta Beth. At 4-1, I'll give them an A-. This is a team that, again, we spoke about it at the top of this show here. An awful loss to have to backyard bruisers. Their defense is good. If McGuigan's there, which he is most times, if not, he's tough. He changes the game on a dime with his abilities on both sides of the football. I worry about the quarterback play. I know Max Marini is going to be like, oh, you know, he's hating on me. No, I'm not hating on you. I want you to become that elite quarterback that you should be on a great team that you guys are. And if they can get that corrected and avoid these 12 of 25 for almost 200 yards passing when the game's out of hand, then I think he'd be a much better quarterback. But at the end of the day, I'll give them an A-. Their schedule, again, they will play Badgers, and the big one against KHB are in 2 weeks, which will be in Bross and Lachine on June 25th. I can't wait for that. That's a heavyweight matchup between these two teams. I'm excited for that one.
Very fair. I'm going to jump into top season here. They're currently 3-2. I'm going to give them a B for the first half of their schedule.
Excuse me?
A B.
For who?
For top seasons.
Why?
Why? Is that high or low?
That's way too high.
No. I'll tell you exactly why it's not. Top Seasons definitely had high expectations coming into the year. This was a Division 4A team. Complete quarterback overhaul this offseason. And now look at this first half schedule, right? Lost by, you beat Get Off My D by 1 point. You lost to KGP Raw, who we give an A++++. You lost to Kiwi Island.
This is from Top Seasons. They wanted to pay you off for that.
Oh, but he's keeping it, though.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'm keeping that as a royalty
all of
fee.
Mocon's money there. He has to put
as
it
a royalty fee.
Kiwi Island, they lost by 1 point. Top Seasons beat Bar Mitzvah and Zoo. So they're winning the games they have to win. They've lost very close competitive games versus the top competitors in this division so far. Going ahead, they have games versus Go-Getters, Frosty Bronsons, Purple Gem Global Gym Purple Cobras, Backyard Bruisers. They have the schedule is relenting in the second half, and we're going to see this team come into their own. Khalil Kerr is going to find his footing, finding his rhythm, and they're going to start teeing off on some of these softer opponents. We're looking at a mean team going into the playoffs.
Go-Getters, I give them a B-. This is a team that has superseded my expectations. I thought this team would be mediocre at best, but they have been playing great defense. They had a tough loss against Kiwi Island, which they gave up too many turnovers. Dylan Daou will tell you the exact same thing. He's going to be gone for 2 weeks to Alberta for vacation, so I wonder where they'll be when he comes back. But this is a team that I love their defense. If they can continue to play that tough nose, yes, Eagle.
That minus 34 and 155 points against doesn't indicate a solid defense, though.
No, but they've played them tough, though. They've played teams tough. They've committed turnovers, but their biggest issue, Eagle, which I was going to bring up here, is that they can't score points in the red zone. That's their biggest knock on them right now, is that they can matriculate the ball downfield, but once they hit inside 20, Alex, it's sort of they become in a fog. They're stuck in puck, and they can't do anything about it.
Look, they have Jeremy Anderson and Jordan Moses, who are away for a week.
Now they're back.
Came back. Jeremy's about 250 pounds now.
Yeah, he looks fat. Oh, God.
So they're making the best of what they have. But Dylan is looking better at quarterback every week. Now we have the 1-4 Backyard Bruisers. Yes, indeed. This is a team like the Frosty Bronsons that had high expectations. They made the semifinals last year with a slightly different quarterback. However, similar roster. You have to give this team a D as well. This has been a miserable first half for them. They finally spiked. They finally peaked and beat an undefeated team in the last game to salvage the first half. And they're looking to bounce back with a softer schedule going ahead than they had in the first round, but still difficult. So I give them a D. I think that they know that this is it now for them. Either they're going to turn this boat around or it's going to sink. And I think that you're going to see a very hungry Bruisers in the next 2 or 3 weeks clawing for wins. But bad first half.
In the South, we got Kiwi Island at 5-0. And I know Dan Lazar's watching right now. He must be annoyed because I picked his brother Anthony to beat him in a fight, which I think is going to be... It's like McGregor versus...
It's going to be epic.
It's going to be epic.
They have to announce the date.
Do you think as kids they actually like maybe fought in like the basement and then maybe Lazar always lost, so you just brought
of course
back
he
like
got bullied by his brother.
But you brought back like bad memories and everything. You made him like cry in the corner, go see mom.
You know what he was? It's sort of like the remember the New York Giants when they beat the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And Romo, the superstar quarterback getting bounced early. Dan Lazar is Tony Romo and Anthony Lazar is Eli Manning. He's just the better quarterback. That's how I look at it. Kiwi Island.
I think Tony Romo could take Eli Manning, though, in a scrum.
I don't think so. He's from the South, man.
Might injure his back or something, but Eli's
from New Orleans, man. That's a tough city. I'm going to give this team an A. They have played well. They have maintained their emotions. We talked about controlling their emotions, which we thought would be a big detriment to them. They have shown a minor volcanic outburst here and there, but nothing out of this world, which has altered their season's landscape. But they have looked impressive. They have ran through teams. They have scored, I believe, 33 points in a row for 5 games straight. They have a relatively easy schedule in the second half. The Zoo, they'll roll over. Diablos, they will roll over. Probably their toughest team. Purple Cobras. Cage Bureau is probably their toughest game on their schedule in the second half of that season, but they can very well be 9-1 going into the playoffs and looking very sharp.
And I think that this is an A+. I think that Simon Dagenet alluded to in a general article a couple weeks saying that he was disappointed with the 4-0 Kiwi Island. I thought that was strange because
He's never watched them play.
Because they were winning by such close scores, but I mean they're beating very good teams by close scores, which is fantastic. So this is definitely a team that deserves an A or an A+ for the first half.
You got Les Affreux.
Les Affreux 3-2, just 2 crushing defeats in the past 2 weeks. This team has to get. I'm going to be rough on them. I'm going to give them a C+. They have a winning record. However, this is a team that we expected much more for coming into the season. And as we said here a couple weeks ago, they're a team that tends to tail off down the stretch, that loses their mojo, and that's exactly what we've seen. And now we are left wondering if they'll actually re-find it at any point this year, because there has been seasons past where they just never reignited. So this is definitely a team that we have a couple question marks too. You'd almost want to give them an incomplete because they started well and now it's just like mind-boggling how poorly they've played the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to give them a C+, and I'm looking for a better second half from them.
All right, I got Purple Cobras. I'm going to give them a C. A bit inconsistent. I know they're trying to become 2.5 Dan's light with their offense. I think Eric Manorino is a decent quarterback, but this is a team that has a lot of talent to work with here. Ben Alward's very good. Diapolo is very good. Joey Taylor obviously on this roster. They should be much better than what their record indicates. I'll give them a C. Next team.
Tough one. Bra Mitzvah here, 1-4. this team has to get, they're going to get a D+ for me. It's a new team. Dave Daou has not been quarterback for a few seasons, so there is some leeway you have to provide him there. But this is definitely a team with experienced components, such as Marty Friedman, such as Zach Goldstein, Devin Daou, Chris Kalitzakis. Like, you expected more from this team, definitely. They haven't come together. They haven't been cohesive. They haven't figured out how to score regularly. They haven't been figured out how to stop scores regularly. So they're going to get a D+, and I truly hope there's a turnaround coming here soon for them, because this is a team of good guys that we'd like to see make the playoffs, but it's looking rough right now.
All right, Zoo F. Enough said.
Bad injuries, though.
Yeah,
bad injuries.
Frank A out. It's a bad run for them.
You can't overcome that.
Yeah, it's an F. They're more competitive than what they are. I think they'll come back stronger for winter season if they do come back. I'm not too sure about that, but an F for them as well. Eagle, are we going to break or we continue on here?
Let's continue on.
All right, let's go. Let's continue with the smorgasbord. Quickly here, Alex, before we get to Div D2, your playoff, two teams that will not make the playoffs in your mind right now for each conference is who?
GLC gone. No wins so far. Not going to turn around. And I'm actually looking at Dreamville, unless they find that 90 rated superstar who wants to come down and play his last 5 games. I'm looking at Dreamville to be bounced.
I think ICU is going to get bounced.
You think ICU?
I think ICU get bounced. I think they're the last team out. Dreamville will be the first team in. So.
I'll be a little controversial. I'll say
apologies.
ICU would actually make it before Frosty Bronson's. I'll put Frosty Bronson's out, if not Dreamville, simply because of the slump they're in, and ICU is looking very good lately.
All right, looking at the Conference B, who is out and who is in?
So you have Zoo, which is out, so far gone,
agreed.
Unfortunately. And secondly, I'm looking at Bra Mitzvah, and I'm saying that they're not going to be able to turn it around in the second half, and I think that it's going to be an unfortunate miss this season for them.
I agree. I think Bra Mitzvah right now is the last team looking out, and they could get in if backyard or go-getters and backyard Bruisers falter along the way.
I believe in the Bruisers. I think there's a turnaround coming for them.
All right, let's go into Division D2. Let's talk about quickly here the games that was. More, you know what? I know there's some games that we always like to zero in on here, Mr. Hollowak, but I'm going to zero in on 2 quarterbacks.
Go ahead.
Just to recap the games that we did. First and foremost, let's talk about the big win for the team that beat the Trinity roster on Tuesday night, and that is Still Preaching 25-20. They win by 5. This was a game where I thought Trinity was going to roll these guys by 85 points. Patrice Lindor, 3 TDs, 2 INTs. GF Marquis, an awful game, 15-35. You should have seen his look on his face as if he lost the Division D2 final in Week 5.
As if they got bounced from the first round in Division 5B.
Yeah, and I think full credit goes to the Haitian Hammer, Vladimir Paris, who rushed him so well to make some bad throws throughout the course of this game here. I thought Trinity came in a little bit lax, thinking that it would be an easy go because they picked off Lindor twice in the first half. But that defense played well in the second half, or they held them scoreless pretty much until late in the second half. And and I guess not the annihilation, but the exhilaration of this victory for Still Preaching. It was felt by them all, because they were like, yes, we beat a legitimate team here. Yeah. No one can make fun of us. But my biggest mark is on GF Marquis. That's 2 games in a row he's played bad. 1 in a win against All Hooks, and now this game. Not to say this is the worst time to have it, but you need to win these games here. You have to win with style, and right now he looks like the quarterback that got bounced in the playoffs. And Alex, you know very well as a quarterback yourself,
who gets bounced in the playoffs.
If you go in the funk, it's tough to get out of that funk, and he's giving up sacks, rushing throws, throwing bad balls.
It's crazy because the field, which is already small to begin with, just becomes so much smaller when you're in a funk. You can essentially have wide windows, but they look like tiny little quarters that you have to throw the ball through. And I've been there before, and it's very difficult. In this game, I see Loic Rubidoux as having a big impact. 2 tackles, 1 INT, made a game-changing turnover. Just the size, athleticism, and aggression of the Preachers defense was able to intimidate the Trinity offense a bit, I think, and push them around.
Absolutely.
And this is a great win for Preachers, like you said, because this is a team that's been going through some rough patches. They've been lacking a quarterback identity, and maybe this is the win that puts them on track for the second half of the year.
Another game that caught my attention was the Warriors and Vikings. I spoke to you off air about this. Vikings lose 21-12 to the Warriors. And I think Michael Soleimani has to be called out for his lack of quarterback play in the second half. You're up by 9 points. You have essentially 6 plays left here, and you're going for the deep ball with 2nd and 1. Go for the first down and kill the game off. Oh, why are you giving this team an opportunity? And I'll give you one thing. The Vikings in the red zone dropped, I think, 25,000 balls. This game could have been a Viking victory. Their defense played well. They were fantastic throughout this game here. I give full props to the entire team, whether it's Jean-François Vallée, who had 1 INT, 3 PDs. Their pass rush was good. It was solid. JP Huard had a great game. I think Dupuis had a great game. These guys, I'm telling you one thing. I know, Alex, you weren't buying into the Vikings. Mm-hmm. If their offense can figure it out, and if they can get their defense perhaps minimum 20-plus points, I think they can be a dark horse team that can upset a team or two along the way here. And they play with great poise, but they got to figure out the offense. I think for the Warriors, same thing again. Start off fast, but cannot finish off games as they should, allowing teams to stick around till late in the 5 plays department.
Vikings have impressed me in the last couple of weeks. They now sit at 2-2-1. Not a team that I would have expected to have that record at this point. The offense is stifling a little bit. What I don't understand, Mo, and you've probably had a chance to cover this team more than I have in the past few weeks. You have a guy, Nicolas Gendron-Vallée, who's had major success in the past at quarterback. How come he hasn't gotten a chance to throw the ball yet this year?
I think they like to get Schnuck to be their guy. Yeah. He makes good throws, man. It's just a matter of and speaking to their guys afterwards, I mean, they weren't disappointed by the loss, but they're like, yeah, we didn't help our quarterback. We should have made those catches. We should have made those receptions. We could have won this game. They could have won this game and beat the Warriors, man.
It has to be apparent. They scored 0 points in the second half, so there must have been some drops.
Yeah, they early touchdown in the second half, and they gave up a safety. So it was a 2-score deficit for them, and they couldn't catch up. All right. Let's talk about the letter grades here. Let's go into this here. We'll go Conference A in the North Division. Would you like to start off?
No, you go ahead first.
I get the Warriors?
You get the Warriors, baby.
I'm giving them a B. Maybe a B minus.
Oh, dropping the hammer. Why?
As I said to you before, they got to finish off games with style. They keep teams in there. And look, I'm not to be TMZ here, but I don't think the team was really happy by the way they ended that game off against the Vikings. But look, you look at the fact that Still Preaching gave them a good run for their money. Buffalo Wild Wings gave them a good run for their money. A lot of games have been decided by 9 points, 8 points or less here. They've won them all. But at some point here, for this team to take that next step, that offense has got to win and close out games. If they can't do that, they may be a one and done here. But I'll give them a B for now. All hooks. I'm giving them an A. They're 4-1. Oh, look at that! Join the bandwagon, I see.
I was the original. I was the original one, and out front of this bandwagon as when it began. But look, they're 4-1. They lost their one game against Trinity without their starting quarterback. This week they came back without their starting quarterback, and they won again, back on the winning track. Once they get Co Laving back, it's going to be all gravy for this team going forward. I don't think there's a team in this division that can really stop them when they're rolling on all cylinders. So I'm going to give them a strong A grade to mark the first half of the season.
Vikings, I'll give them a B minus. I really believe their defense is probably, and they won't get their credit, they're probably a top 5 defense in Division D2. I've score kept their games now, I think 3 out of the first 5 of the year, and they play tough as nails defense out there. If their offense can figure it out and give them some sort of production, it will help them immensely. But for what they've done, and I know their first years, and Justin Blanchard, who's here, who score kept them, he'll tell the exact same thing. They played 25 quarterbacks per game, but I think they figured it out now, and they got their guy in place moving forward.
They figured out you should only play one quarterback.
One quarterback with maybe
it only took them with
Corbatti, who threw an awful line to Mike Roystyles, but they got it figured out here. But this is a team I think can perhaps move up in the ladder with what they've done so far. You got Still Preaching.
Let's go to Still Preachers. They're sitting at 2-3. They're coming off an emotional roller coaster of a win versus Trinity, which might spark their second half run. However, I have to give them a B minus on this one, and I think I'm being a little bit generous with that as well. They haven't solved the quarterback solution yet. They've switched from Alex Labonte to I don't know if Nick Sarro got his chance this season, but he was the previous quarterback last year, and now they have Pat Lindor in as quarterback. It seems like it's not a cohesive strategy. It's not a strategy that's going to work long term. If they want to build Patrice Lindor up as their quarterback of the future, it's a good thing to do it now in the spring season, but it's going to be a little bit of a write-off for them if they want to take those lumps. So I'm going to give them a B minus right now. But still, the defense is very good. The defense can win on its own and steal games on any given week. That's why they get that grade.
I got ETC. I'm going to give them a D.
Okay.
Another enthusiasm, passionate about it, but they're just not ready for Div D-2. I think they're a Div E team, reality speaking here. They lost. They were outclassed by lobster dinner. Bobby McMahon, unfortunately for him, I think this might be too high of a Benjamin McMahon. I call him Bobby for some odd reason here. Ben McMahon, it might be in a grade level too high with what he's done. Mm-hmm. I think he needs Division E to really refine his skill sets. He's very anxious out there throwing the football. Gets over hyped up with what he does, but they got guys. Owen Budrowski, who I think could become the next big star in the lower divisions. He's the legit real deal. He can play both ways. Perhaps maybe a future Frosty Bronson. I don't know. But they got some guys to work with here. A lot of athletes, but unfortunately, they might be in the wrong division, and because of that, they will not.
They seem like a great group of young men, very enthusiastic, as you said. They need to give us something to aspire to now. They need to give us a big win. Rock the cages a little bit in the second half. Give us that big win so we can have more of a reason to cover you and go more in depth into you, because we want to know your team. But you got to give us a reason to look into it. But definitely encouraging some of the play. Next up, we have Trinity, who sit at a whopping 4-1. Just were taken completely aback this week by the loss versus Still Preachers. They thought they were going to be 5-0 and cruising into the midseason. This is a team that thrives off of their confidence, and they deserve to have that confidence because of such a stifling defense and usually a smooth offense. I'm going to give them a B+, however, because this latest loss has been detrimental to me. I think that's going to expose some vulnerabilities that other teams might want to pick up on in the second half. But still, one of the top teams in this division, in my estimation.
I got Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm going to give them a B-. They've won 2 in a row now. They beat Lobster Dinner and Black Knights. Dinner is a tough team. Knights relatively easy. And Vincent Goyette's a guy that I really like a lot here. He's done very well. 34 catches. He's on pace for perhaps, if the projection is correct, over 65 catches and maybe 10 touchdown grabs, which would definitely lead the league in receiving. They have been good on defense, but if their offense can pick it up, which they have, and Goyette could be that guy for them, I think they can definitely make some noise here. So that's my letter grade for them.
Well, I think we should have done this segment with one-word answers. It would have been so much more interesting. Lobster Dinner, tough team. Black Knights, relatively easy. I think we were able to summarize it quite succinctly there.
Still haven't brought you.
Yes.
They still haven't brought you guys any Wild Wings from Buffalo, right?
They still have not, no. And they haven't arranged.
Plattsburgh.
Yeah.
Plattsburgh.
If they had brought you any, would their rating have been higher?
If it was boneless Wild Wings, I think there might be
I don't think that
an
exists.
A-, A+. Let's just say I'm a very corrupt professor. Or scorekeeper, if you know what I mean. You got Dinner.
I got Lobster Dinner. Look, they started off the season on a terror, slumped a little bit for a 2-week stretch. Now they've bounced back with win over ETC. I'm going to give this team a solid B rating for the first half. Sorry, Justin Blanchard has something to...
He's putting the glasses on. He's serious now.
It's just like you guys are like the Quebec education system here. Just give everyone a nice little B
bell
grade.
Curve.
You know what I mean? Bell curve everything. I haven't heard a single C come out of.
Wait, hold on. No, wait till the next.
All right, I'm waiting.
Hey, you just arrived, Justin Blanchard. You have to give us some time here.
Red Sharks, or you want to carry on?
I'm going to give them a B. They're 3-2. Jonathan Brown is having a good year. They still haven't found the formula for their offense entirely, but Francis Hogue is a fantastic rusher. I'm going to give him a B.
Red Sharks, an F.
Oh, Mocon's dropping the hammer now.
Well, they have university players, and they're an F. Enough. Black Knights. Oh, I'm going to give him an F, too. Let's there you go. Bell curve the F. Bell curve the F. That's right. There you go. Boom.
Let's round this up now.
There you go.
Black Knights quarterback has thrown more INTs than touchdowns. It's inexplainable how they don't make the necessary changements on offense, and until that, they're going to be an F.
Le Montagnard, the Mountaineers, an A, brother.
That's right.
They're good, man.
They're good.
They're awesome.
They are indeed.
I don't see anything else. VM boys are good. I love how they are so far. I know they're a small roster, but if you say Sierra's been very good this year, 22 TDs, 5 INTs.
Yeah.
They've pretty much dominated their competition up until now. And their second half, Trinity and All Hooks, 2 out of the last 3 games, tough road, but I think they can definitely, in control of their division, end up with at least 7, if not 8 wins.
All right, so we have the Roadrunners here. I'm going to give these guys a C+. Yes, they're 2-2-1. Yes, they just destroyed Norfolk and Chance. However, this is a very talented team, and to have basically a 500 record going into the break, I do expect more wins from them in the second half, and to have them close out games and finish off as they should.
Smoking on that Lala, I'm going to give them a D.
Wow.
Underachieving. I'm not impressed by them so far. I score cap a couple of their games. I know Avery Lala's grown into the position. It'll take him time to become a legitimate guy, but I will say this, though. When Brent Callender is a receiving threat on your roster.
Say his name properly. Brent, the Hitman Callender.
Okay,
Put
relax.
some respect on it.
Carlton Banks, when he is the leading receiver on this team, one of the key guys, there's a serious problem here. And I think they could turn it around, but right now I'm not at that point where I'm confident that they can make a deeper run in the playoffs here. Next team.
Who's next team, Mo?
You have Norfolk and Chance.
Norfolk and Chance. So they're sitting at 2 and 3 right now, I believe.
Correct.
This team has to be a C right now. They're finding their identity as they go along. They're gaining their legs. Rocco is starting to play a little bit better at quarterback. However, they still have some big plot holes in terms of what kind of narrative they're trying to tell us. So I'm going to give them a C until they can define themselves a little bit more going into the second half.
You know, in school, when there's like a student that tries hard, teacher likes them. I like this student a lot. I'm going to give him a passing grade.
Exactly.
Longhorns, I'll give them a D.
Oh, give them a D just for old time's sake.
Good group of guys. I just don't. They're hot and cold, and they're very cold in summer season right now. And
well, look, Brad Evans, we love him in Division E. We thought he'd have more of an impact so far. He's been sacked 22 times so far this season. 22 times for a guy who's...
That's like the equivalent of Simon Dajri throwing 22 INTs in the first 5
He's keeping
games.
the INTs low. I think he has maybe 5 INTs on the season, but 22 sacks, that's an awful lot of negative net yardage on those plays.
It is.
So, case in point, why the Longhorns are sitting at 1 and 4. Ravens, 5 and 0. This team has gone under our radar so far. We haven't hyped them up with the elite teams in the division as we should have. The team on steroids, as you call them, I'm going to give them an A+, just because we haven't given them the love yet that we should have. This is a team that just, but here's a question. How is the injury to Mike Adana going to impact this dynamic in the second half?
Mike is showing up to games to get the injury games played for.
Yes. But they need him in the lineup.
Optimistically speaking, he believes he could come back. He could, not can. He could come back. We'll see.
You're looking at a guy who had 11 sacks in only 4 games.
Blame Chapman.
You blame Chapman, yeah.
Definitely blame Chapman.
Yes, Justin. Oh, I thought you were picking up the microphone. It looks like you're picking up the mic. Yeah, blame Chapman too. Yeah.
But look at that. Other than that, Anthony Adana going to pick up the slack. Matthew Uhl, TD catching machine, flag Jesus. So this is a team that definitely finally deserves the recognition that they should have gotten a long time ago. Give an A+, Mo. On to the next one.
Big Fun Party Mix, B+.
Nice.
I think they have gone under the radar themselves. Evan Eli Nole has done much better than before. I called him out a couple weeks ago for his ineptitude at that position.
Yeah.
But this, I really did, actually, to be honest with you. But look, they tied Smoking That Lala in 1919, but they got a relatively easy schedule up until week 9 when they play the Roadrunners. They could very well be Roadrunners and Ravens back-to-back weeks, but they could very well be a 6-win team by the time we hit week 9. So I'm going to give them a B, and if they can somehow split or even take those last 2 games, you never know. They could definitely get a run for the finals.
War Pigs sitting at 2 and 3. They're going to get a C+ for me. This is a team that is built on sturdy veterans. They lost to Black Knights last week, 32-21. That's a very discouraging loss. However, they came back and they just put up 37 against Longhorns in the win. So a little bit of inconsistency here. Corey Waleski's doing what he can, but it seems like I'm looking at the core. I'm looking at the receivers and the defense to step up a bit. This team has already allowed 145 points in only 5 games. Definitely defense has to step in and make some stops for the quarterback. So War Pigs are going to get a C+.
Pandas, simple. F. Next.
Ouch. Goofy Goobers. I'm going to give these guys I'm going to give them a C-. I'm going to say, look, they're 1 and 4. This is a team, if you look at their ratings, it's all a bunch of 55s and 60s. They don't have a distinguished FPF star, quote unquote. They have Zach Zergiotis, who made some appearances for Obamacare in the winter, adapting to the quarterback position. But I'm going to give them a C+. Look, there's room for growth here for these guys, and let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's see what they can do in the second.
All right, here we go. 2 teams that won't make the playoffs in your mind is who for Conference A?
You give us a second here. Conference A, I have, unfortunately, the very nice young men of ETC at 0-4-1. They're going to not have the firepower to turn it around. And definitely the Black Knights at 1-4 right now. Unless something seismic happens at offense, they're not going to make the playoffs either. What about you, Mo?
Red Sharks, ETC.
Red Sharks.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by those 2 teams.
But now the recent change of quarterback in the last couple of weeks has been a little bit promising for them. Maybe we'll see some spark going ahead.
Not going to happen. Conference B.
Conference B, I have the Goofy Goo Bears at 1 and 4, 2 in experience in this pretty tough Division D2 this year at least. And then I have, to just counter my own argument, the Longhorns, perhaps the most experienced team in the team at 1 and 4. Not enough firepower for me. They're going to fall just short.
The Goobers won't make it, and it'll come down to week 9. Pandas, Longhorns. Winner will get the playoff spot, I think. The loser will go home.
That's it.
That's it. It is now time for
Games of the Week.
Yeah, all right. I wish we had Chapman doing this.
That's Justin's favorite segment because it means
yes.
he's almost on air.
Yes, I'll be home in time. I get to go do legs. Leg workout today, boys. Full workout.
We'll go with them in order.
Yes, in the order that we have them. Yes.
All right,
please.
we have SOB versus Badgers. SOB is up 2.5 points.
SOB, come on, man. 2.5 coming off of a loss. They're gonna have their heads on this week, and they're gonna cruise past the Badgers.
Give me the Badgers.
Oh, big upset!
Give me the Badgers.
Put that wad of $25 on the table on this
gonna
one.
kick my ass. This SOB man, he really hates us. Next.
Next game, we have Frosty Bronson versus Deville.
Oh, I got this. So I got with the pick.
Deville is up 4.5 points.
Eagle, who do you have?
I'm gonna.
You can't make the pick.
I can't make the pick.
You can't make the pick.
I'm an objective, bipartisan analyst.
Go ahead, pick Deville. I dare you to pick Deville right now.
I picked the Bronsons.
Yeah, exactly. Surprise, surprise.
And that was objective? Why then? Go ahead.
Elaborate.
Because we both have the same record, and they have 4.5 points. So I'll take the Bronsons and the 4.5 points.
Okay.
Mo, who do you got?
Deville.
All right. Fun Boys versus Backyard Bruisers. 9.5 points to Fun Boys.
Oh, I've definitely taken the Bruisers on this one. Bruisers have been playing scrappy, and you're going to give them 9.5 points in hand? Come on, that's way too high. I'm
Fun
taking
Boys,
Bruisers.
Brother. They're going to double that.
Oh, you're going to ride the Fun Boys down into
Damn
the
straight,
cellar
man.
this season.
They could be 25-point underdogs. I'll still take them.
Next game, we have Ravens versus Lobster Dinner. Lobster Dinner's favored by 5.
Oh, sorry. Ravens are favored by 5.5. I made that mistake. Sorry.
Ravens are favored by 5.5 points.
Stop Vegas. Stop the
Take
presses.
him off the boards.
I'm gonna take the Ravens to cover the 5.5. I do think it's gonna be very tight. Maybe if you said 7.5, I might go to Lobster, but I'll take Ravens to cover 5.
I agree. I think so. I think Ravens will cover that.
We have Warriors versus All Hooks. Warriors are favorited also by 5.5.
Ooh, all hooks all day. I'll bet if CO Laving is there, which we can't confirm obviously on this show, I would bet the house on all hooks. But in this case, since I don't have to, I'll just take all hooks.
I'm taking you, Warriors. I'm taking you guys. You better prove me right.
That's a big leap of faith for the.
I'm pointing at them too. I'm pointing at them too.
And in our last prediction for this week, we have Still Preaching versus Vikings. Vikings are favored by 3.5 points.
This is an incredible draw here. It's very difficult. I am going to take the Still Preaching. I can't believe I'm doing it. Give me Still Preaching. Give me the scrappy defense and Pat Lindor to cover the points on this one. Oh,
That's all I gotta
got the
say.
clap. You know who he's taking on that one.
The Skulls.
It's the Skulls.
Taking them. What did you learn in today's episode?
I learned that if I was on Rate My Professor, I would obviously choose myself to go to class 2 rather than you because you're a very harsh teacher. A very harsh grader, that is.
I would be harsh on you. Halawak.
What about you, Mo?
I learned that Eagle is better than all three of us. Better looking than us, smarter than us, and more conniving than us.
I learned that we can be on schedule on Thursdays.
We could. Just a reminder, we're at 5 games now. If you want to get someone eligible for playoffs, you have to play the remainder of the season. That is a new player to your team. So remember, 5 games to go. You need 5 for playoffs. And we are almost near the playoffs. At the halfway point, who will make it? We'll talk more about that next week. A good night, Cleveland. We'll see you in October.